G'day, Aussie Bonsai bloke here, how you going? I'm going to give you a bit of a walk through me field grown stock that I'm growing at the moment. There's not too many big ones at the moment, as you've seen in the last couple of videos. I dug some out, but there's a lot of plants in the ground, and I'm just going to show you how I initially get the trunk. So I'll show you around. This here's a couple of lemon trees I've grown from seed. I've been in the ground a couple of years. Starting to get a bit of a base on some of them. I may dig one out, leave one here. If it starts producing lemons, it may never produce a proper lemon because it was from seed. Here's a juniper here that I've got in the ground. Starting to get quite a big base on it, but it's hard to see underneath all this stuff. Very sharp on the hands, like needles there stabbing me. Olive there, another apple tree here which I ripped up along with that other apple tree that I've got as bonsai. This one was pretty slow to shoot, but it's going okay. This one there, I think that's a plain tree. I think I might leave that as a normal tree in the garden. Got some ash, pomegranate. Pomegranate's pretty small. You might be able to see in there, sort of like a lot of branches coming from the base. Fig tree here. The base comes out a fair bit. Might dig that one up one day, although with these fig trees it's very hard to get the leaves back. Yeah, so I just plant them in the garden here, and if they look like they're not going to be any good for bonsai, I just leave them in the garden and don't dig them up. Here's some seedlings, some oak seedlings I put in a year ago. Still pretty small. There's a dog taking a crap. Want to see that? Yep. There's a there's a olive tree, an ash tree. As you can see, it's getting pretty high. Starting to get a bit of a fatter base on it, but a lot of inverse taper there. Some fire thorns, a few maples. This one's English oak. English oak? Yeah, English oak, this one. The base is starting to get quite big down here, but I'm going to wait until the main trunk starts to bark up like down here, and then lop it, and then let another leader grow for another year or two. Maybe next year it might be barking up a bit. There's a peppercorn in through there. So yeah, that's the side fence anyway. Here's the kids' cubby house that I made. Kids don't really play in it much, as kids do. They want it, you make it, and they don't use it. But well, looks pretty good. This is a stock area where I've got a lot of stock of sprinklers in pots. There's the ash tree that we carved the other day. Do you remember or seen the video? Just a lot of stock plants in here. I'll show you them in a bit more detail later when they all start shooting. They're a bit sick from the winter frost at the moment. We've got a native sort of a section out here, Australian natives. Some radiata pines as well. Not traditionally used for bonsai, but here's some. I tried this one here. I'll just show you this one. I put wire around the trunk to see whether the Japanese sometimes do it as field grown trees. They put wire around and then they leave it. And then, as you can see, it swells up. The thickness of that compared to that hasn't had the wire on and already it's starting to grow over the top of the wire, and eventually that'll go away and then the wire will stay in there forever. So I'm just experimenting, but it's still pretty healthy considering the wire was strangling it, but it's grown on the cambium's across the wire now, so it's reconnected on the outside of the wire, so that tree will be fine. Yeah, so just bits and pieces through here. This one's a swamp paperbark I collected from work when it was only a tiny thing. It's probably 4 years here, I reckon. See if I can show you any of the trunk here. Sort of about 3 or 4 different trunks in here, but I reckon next year I'll cut it back hard, let it shoot out again, and then the year after I'll collect this one. It's starting to take up a fair bit of the backyard. It's a mulberry tree there, still dormant from winter. Won't be long that one will start to shoot. Some of the Chinese elms now are starting to shoot. Some of them are starting to get a bit of a base on them. All of them. Yeah, so some are starting to get a bit of a base. Hard to tell in there, but they're probably, most of these have got a fair few years left before I collect them. This bed was planted, the last bed that I planted when I first realised that field grown trees are a lot faster to grow a trunk. But in another 6-7 years, a lot of this stuff will be coming out, and I'll have that many trees to work on. I won't know what to do with them. Yeah, so just, there's a fig, but that's just a normal fig that I'm going to use for food. A couple of maples here, some lily pillies. I just planted them this year. Another maple here just starting to shoot. A couple of more junipers here. Another juniper over there. Yes, that's basically what I do. I just put them in the ground and let them fatten up. Yeah, well, that's a walk around the backyard anyway. Cheers for watching. Aussie Bonsai Bloke. Subscribe, share. I'll catch you later.